Good morning, friends. My today topic is leading cases. Case number 2, advocate on record syllabus. That is Maneka Gandhi versus Union of India, 1978. Friends, this case of Maneka Gandhi versus Union of India, 1978, is a landmark judgment in Indian Constitution that significantly expanded the scope of Article 21 of the Constitution and emphasized the importance of personal liberty and procedural fairness. Going to the background of the case, Maneka Gandhi, a journalist and social activist, was issued a passport under the Passport Act 1967 on June 1st, 1976. On July 2, 1977, the Government of India confiscated her passport in the public interest without providing her a reasonable or allowing her a chance to be heard. This is the main issue. She challenged the government's action in the Supreme Court under Article 32 of the Constitution of India, arguing that it violated her fundamental rights. So, in the hearing of the case, the issues raised were firstly, whether the confiscation of her passport without providing her an opportunity to be heard violated her fundamental rights under Article 14, which talks about right to equality, under Article 19, which talks about right to freedom of speech and expression, right to move freely, and right to travel abroad. Third one was under Article 21, which talks about protection of life and personal liberty. So she pleaded before the court that my Article 14, Article 19, and Article 21 of the Constitution of India has been violated. Then argument presented what the Maneka Gandhi said. The government's action was arbitrary and violated her fundamental rights. The procedure under the Passport Act was not fair, just, or reasonable, and thus violated Article 21. She also argued that the denial of a right to be heard breached natural justice principles. On the other hand, respondent, that is Union of India, said that the action was taken in the public interest, which was sufficient justification under the Passport Act. The right to travel abroad is not explicitly granted as a fundamental right. After listening both the parties, Honorable Supreme Court gave her judgment. The judgment was delivered by a 7-judge bench on January 25, 1978. The court ruled in favor of Maneka Gandhi, and its ruling, the important points of the ruling are: number one, Article 21, which talks about expansion of life and personal liberty was given in the judgment. I mean to say Article 21 was expanded to consider life and personal liberty. The court held that life and personal liberty under Article 21 cannot be interpreted narrowly. So it expanded its meaning. Any law affecting life or liberty must be just, fair, and reasonable, not arbitrary or oppressive. This broadened the scope of Article 21, making it a cornerstone for the protection of fundamental rights. Mean to say, Article 21 was expanded, not narrowly interpreted, its meaning was expanded, which became cornerstone for future judgments also. Then the second doctrine which came into after judgment, that was procedural due process. The court introduced the concept of procedural due process in Indian law. It stated that any procedure that curtails life or liberty must comply with the principles of natural justice, that is, right to fair hearing. Then, interrelation of fundamental rights. The court ruled that Article 14, 19, and 21 are interlinked. So, a concept of triangle was made out in this judgment, having three corners: at one corner 14, and another corner 19, third corner 21. Mean to say, the executive has to keep in mind the three together. If any one of them is violated, then it is not a fair hearing. A law must pass the test of all three articles to be valid. Article 14, as I already told, equality before law. The law must not be arbitrary. Article 19, which talks about freedom. The law must not unreasonably restrict freedoms. Article 21, life and liberty. The law must be fair, just, and reasonable. Now, coming to, as was argued, that right to travel abroad. What the court said on this point is, while the court did not explicitly recognize the right to travel abroad as fundamental right, it held that restrictions on this right must meet the tests of Article 14, 19, and 21. So, after great discussion as above, the things come out. What is the significance of the judgment? Keeping in view above ruling, it means wider interpretation of fundamental rights. The judgment transformed Article 21 into a source of several legal rights, such as the right to privacy, right to livelihood, and right to clean environment, among others. So it was expanded to such an extent, near about everything which make your life comfortable was covered in this article, through this Article 21. Second came the end of arbitrary state action. The court emphasized that state action must conform to the principles of fairness and natural justice. It means it limited arbitrary powers, put check on the powers. This judgment became foundation for future judgments. The principle laid down in this case were later on used in several landmark judgments, such as A.K. Gopalan versus State of Madras, Khark Singh versus State of Uttar Pradesh, and Puttaswamy versus State of India, which last one was talked about right to privacy. And the fourth significance of the judgment is introduction of procedural due process. While ensuring procedural fairness, the judgment aligned Indian law more closely with international human rights standards. So it raised the standard of our articles so that they may compete with international standards. Our right to of living was, you can say, expanded, giving more life to our thoughts. So, nutshell, I am concluding this landmark judgment by saying that Maneka Gandhi versus Union of India case was a monumental decision that broadened the scope of personal liberty under Article 21 and reinforced the interdependence of fundamental rights 14, 19, and 21. It ensured that state actions affecting citizens' right to life or liberty must adhere to the principles of fairness, equality, and reasonableness, making it a cornerstone of constitutional jurisprudence in India. That's all. God bless you all. See you again. My next video will be on third latest landmark judgment.